Join the conversation by calling in at 476-1045 or tweet into the show at 1045 The Team. It's Big Board Sports with Roger Weiland on 1045 The Team.
Well, the Albany Empire season ended on Saturday, surprisingly enough. They lost to Washington at the Times Union Center. Good crowd, 9,600 fans turned out. And you know that this week would have been an absolute sellout had they been in the championship game. But they get beat 47-40. And I don't know. To me, you turned the ball over a couple times. You had 9 penalties. And those missed PATs again, which have been a little bugaboo this year overall. And you add that all up, and you get beat by a Washington team that was probably feeling pretty good about themselves, only losing by 1 the week before. They felt like they could do it. And they did. All in all, though, what a heck of a season it was. Rob Keefe has been with us every Monday morning here on Big Board Sports, and the head coach of the Albany Empire joins us here this morning. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Morning, Appreciate it, Coach. I know it was a tough one for you, but I watched the game, and I guess, you know, when you add up turnovers and penalties and some mixed PATs, a couple of them, it put you in a tough spot, and you were down at halftime as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you look at both of those games that we played versus Washington, things that were uncharacteristic of ourselves was, we didn't score either time going into the half last, and we did not score at the end of the game last. Now, we might have scored in overtime last to have us win the first one, but, both times it's, 4 possessions that we normally score on. And then again, too, we weren't, opportunistic. I didn't think we got enough takeaways, and we let them hang around. And I think, if this is the 6th time that you've played a team, again, not an excuse by any means, but we even said, if say the Patriots, whoever you consider the best team in the, the NFL are, if they play the worst team in the NFL, 6 times, that one time, and it just unfortunately happened to be the one time, and came at a bad time for the organization, and really disappointed, I think, to say the least. But nevertheless, man, the guys fought hard. It was just a good, hard-fought, well battle by Washington, and you just got to tip your hat to them.
I thought one of the big plays of the game was when they stopped you 4th and 1 at your 11-yard line.
Yeah, that was big. And so what we were trying to do, again, to be conservative and, talking about as a coaching staff, probably should have kept the gas on a little bit, but, maybe called a different play, and that's all in hindsight. But what we were trying to do is we wanted to make sure we just got that first down and purposely just kind of slowed the clock down because we wanted to score last, knowing that they got the ball back first in the second half. And it turned on us right there. I think what bailed us out again, because, we kept fighting, was they scored last before the half. Right before the half, and they went up by a possession. Well, they came out with the ball. In the second half, that could have been really bad. They could have gone up by 2 scores. Terrence Smith got a turnover for us, got a pick just right on time, and then we were able to tie the game up. So it kind of negated that. So it was, when we look back at it, I think we say every time we were kind of in a tough situation, we were able to battle back. I'd say this, look, I'm always going to bet on us 10 times out of 10 if we have the ball last at the end of the game to win it. And unfortunately, it just didn't come out that way. And, I think if we lost by 28 points or something like that, you start to look in the who's and the whys and what went wrong here. But I just always go back to, unfortunately, we had the ball last, 30 seconds left, midfield, 3 timeouts. I mean, that's exactly what you want when, in my opinion, you have the best offensive line in the league, the MVP, the offensive player of the year, the rookie of the year, the wide receiver of the year, all these things. And, it just didn't come out on top, and it's unfortunate because I know those guys really wanted it.
And you convert a 4th and 20. I mean, I know there was the penalty on that play, but time really just kind of ran out on you guys from tying it for a 3rd time in that second half. Empire head coach Rob Keefe with us here on Big Board Sports 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. Coach, I've had people who have not followed this season all that closely say to me, I can't believe the Empire lost Saturday night to a team that only had 2 wins in the regular season. And you don't need me to be the guy who defends you on the wall, but I've said, look, it's a new quarterback, it's a new coach. How much did this Washington team become a new, or at least a different team over the course of the year?
Well, look, I'll tell you this, I don't make any excuses for a loss. At the end of the day, we lost the game. And, I mean, if I had Washington to play again right now, I'm going to say we're going to beat them. I'm not, I respect Washington. We obviously did respect Washington. They got the better of us on that Saturday night. Do I think the better team won? I don't. And I think they understand that if they were sitting here, having a conversation with me. But, I'm not going to sit here and cry over spilled milk. They got the better of us for that night. Do I think that the better overall team? No, and that's indicative of the record that we had and the record that they had. But this is the sixth time that we played. And it's hard when you play a team 6 times. I think law of averages start to kick in. But at the end of the day, I thought we still should have won the football game. We found ourselves in a dogfight, uncharacteristic turnovers. We left 21 points out. Getting that onside kick at the end by Kenny Spencer. I mean, what a heck of a kick. What a great play by Terrence Moore to knock it free, and a great play by Keefe Brown, who got here 3 days before, to fall on the ball. I mean, that's where the percentages are low. With us having the ball with 30 seconds left and midfield with 3 timeouts, I still say every single time with who we have in the building, we're going to win that football game. So with Washington being the record and the team they are, probably if they had the team that they had now, they probably would have been a 6-6 team. They probably would have been that 5-7 team. I still think they were outmatched. I think what speaks to it is that they were just got hot at the right time. And I think, we knew what we had going in. We knew that obviously winning by 2 the week before, we were going to be in a dogfight. It's just unfortunate that we didn't hit on all cylinders, and it came at the wrong time of the season for us not to be clicking the way that we should be clicking.
Yeah, and what fans also need to know is that Washington got better as the season went on. You mentioned a couple of weeks ago, they made a lot of moves. They changed their personnel around. Talk about the quarterback situation and the head coach, right? They fired their head coach. They had a new head coach in there too. So they did get hot at the right time. And I agree with you, Rob. When you leave a team that you should beat in any sport, I don't care what it is, hang around. How many times have we all said that? Oh boy, you're leaving this team, hang around. You're gonna get burnt eventually if you continue to do that. And they just hung around too long into the night, and they got you at the end. But hey, what did you say to your team when the game was over? Because overall, this will be. This is a season to look back on, the inaugural season, a huge success.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, yes, we're disappointed, but we're disappointed because our expectations are so high. And that's the mark of true successful people, that, failure ultimately is what leads to success if you know how to get up and keep fighting. And, that's Winston Churchill quote, right? Like, success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's all about the courage to continue. That's what really matters. And so for us, that's what professional sports is about. There's only one winner at the end of the day. And so if there's 4 more teams in this league next year, if there's 30 more teams in this year next year, there's only one winner. And so for us, we're building something very, very special here. And so this is just the beginning. If you look around the league, everything is set up for us to continue to be dominant. We have a great fan base, great ownership. Our front office is phenomenal. I fully expect our front office to get front office of the year when they hand out the awards. Everything is set up from a recruiting standpoint. Our staff is unbelievable as a coaching staff. I just think it's just going to be the beginning. And then now knowing that how close we are, I think the fans are just going to be even more rabid, and people have understood kind of what this is, professional football. We're putting Albany back on the map from a sports standpoint. Like, I'm ready to get back to work. And so we're already starting to say, hey, who should we go after next year? How do we want to do this? I think the toughest thing is when you talk to the team after a game, it very much is, and I don't want to put this on this, dramatic of a scale, but it is much like a very sudden death. And it's just tough because you don't expect it, and it just hits you so hard, and you're kind of a little shell-shocked, and you're like, what do I do? And what happens now is, players will be leaving here probably within the next 24 hours, and they go back to their homes and their wives and their kids, and, they're kind of off doing their own thing for the off season. And that's the hardest part about it, that you just disband so quickly. I think in college you go right into, you have class the next day, and you get to do, you get to work out together, and you do all those kind of things. This team breaks apart very quickly, but at the end of the day, we're all going to come back here together because we'll start re-signing players September 1st. So there's going to be this little kind of, lull period, but, if you're a real true champion, this is going to stick with you. You're going to use it. It's going to motivate you. We have exit interviews with our guys in the last 48 hours we've been having them, and they're just so upset, but you can tell it's going to drive them. It's just going to make them better, and it's unfortunate you have to wait that long, but, that's what it's all about. You just got to use it, and you got to internalize it, and you got to use it for your benefit the following season, and I think we're going to be better for it, to be honest, in the long run.
Rob, we hear about other potential teams jumping into this league for next year. How much do you expect an Orlando or a Cleveland franchise to affect maybe the way you guys recruit this offseason and how many of the players you're able to keep?
Well, I think, again, that's a really good point. So I don't think it's more necessarily about the destination, and so that's one thing I want Albany to know. Like, okay. Albany, when you say, oh man, Florida's warm and it's what. Look, we all play indoors. right? I got a sale for everything, right? So I mean, it's always 72 degrees and sunny in Albany because we play inside, so don't worry about that, right? But it's for us. I think it's about what we build, and people have seen it, and so that's why I really appreciate the players. I really appreciate the players because they didn't even know. Like, we had to paint the picture visually on the phone to these guys. You know, we had to literally like help them envision what we thought this was going to be, and I think it'll be very difficult, in my opinion, to have that happen and be replicated this quickly like we did this year. I mean, this is, again, you don't want to underestimate your opponents. Everybody can do what we've done, but I just don't think it could be replicated that quickly. So for us, if there are new teams that are going to come in, let's say 2 to 4, maybe 6 by the end of 2020, so we have a 10-team league, it's healthy, you know, it's viable. I still think this is the place to be, and I think it's because of what we have from the top down. I mean, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that the owners are doing for the players that make the players realize how much they're valued here, and this is a place where they can really raise a family. So I think on all accounts, off the field, on the field, this is the place to be. And again, the fans. So no matter how great another place can be, if there's no fans in the stands, you know, I want fans in the stands everywhere because that means the league is getting stronger. But for right now, for the next 5-year plan, this is going to be the place to be, and hopefully it's going to be like that for a very long time.
No question. The fans and the media coverage and everything that they get here, they feel a part of this community. You do not feel that in these other cities right now because there's major league teams there. They're not number one. But when you come here, time of the year this league is going on, boy, Albany puts you in every way at the very top, and I think you saw that this year. Do you expect to sign most of the players, Rob, and I'm talking about the name guys, the Tommy Grady's of the world, to be back here next season?
Oh, without a doubt. You know, that's the 100% the goal, and that's what we talk about the exit interviews, and that's why, guys, too, it's you didn't want this to happen the way that it did at the end of the season, and to have it just kind of pulled out under the rug from us that way, but you can see the guys already talking. And look, we got to do this, man. We can do this if we stick together, if we have a camaraderie. Because remember, a lot of these guys were on different teams last year. And so all these guys were from all over the place. Well, now imagine if you're here all year round and you're working out together, even if you live in a different state, you're flying up and you're coming into workouts. And we kind of can create this program that the teams that kind of have guys bounce around, they know this now. If you're on a different team for 4 years in a row, what are you, a hired gun? I mean, what really are you? I mean, what really are you doing, you know, with your career? If you want to win, you have to find a way to stick together because it is all about camaraderie and cohesiveness and that great team chemistry. So you can see that they're really buying into that philosophy as well. And so I fully expect for us to have everyone we want back on this team that wants to be here. And again, I mean, there's going to be guys from other teams. And so that's where we're kind of talking about it, where we're going to have our pick of the litter because of what we built here, because of the media coverage and all the fans and the front office staff, that we have to make sure we don't bring too many newbies on, because then it's, again, we have to start that chemistry all over. But there will be some pieces of the puzzle that are going to add to us being even stronger. So I'm excited on all accounts. But, yes, you know, I really want to build this team the way that we did this year with the guys that want to be back. And I fully expect, I mean, if I had to put a price on it, or a percentage on it, I'd probably say about 90 guys on this team. 90% of the guys want to be back, which is a really, really good sign.
That's awesome. Hey, Rob, you absolutely have done a phenomenal job. I'd be surprised if you're not the head coach of the year in the Arena League. I think that maybe come out this week at some point.
Empire should clean up on these postseason
there's no
awards.
Doubt, and they have, and now the front office and yourself and Tommy the MVP. But you've done a phenomenal job. It was great having arena football back, and I think it's only going to get bigger as the years move on.
Well, and thank you guys for saying that so much. I mean, we appreciate all the coverage we've been getting, and I think just for you and Chris, like what great relationships that we're starting to develop here. I think this is just the beginning of just great relationships and great friendships from just us personally, but also us as organizations with the media and the fans. I mean, you're exactly right. I think this is only going to get better, and I'm really excited to see where this really goes.
I will see you Wednesday night then, Coach. We got one more. We'll wrap things up on the TV show Wednesday night, and then you're probably heading out of town for a little bit, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.